Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cabela's, Cuddyback, America's Best Bowstrings, Drake Non-Typical, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, Hoyman Tree Saws, Lone Wolf Tree Stands, Nikon, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, RTP Outdoors, Spot Hog Releases, Wasp Archery, Viking Solutions, and Realtree.
Thanks for joining us here at Midwest Whitetail. It's October 10th. I'm back out here in the stand I was hunting on October 4th. We just had another great cold front come through last night. Dropped the temperatures from about mid-70s this past couple of days down to it's about 46, 47 right now. It's about 7:30 right now. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm hoping the movement picks up here with this cold front coming through. The cold front is going to keep continuing to drop the temperature over the next day and get down to the 30s tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to be hunting tomorrow and expecting to see a pretty good amount of movement tomorrow. I'm back in, like I said, back in this stand that was on October 4th for a buck I call high and tight. He's a buck I'm going after again today. You know, when I was sitting on the 4th after that cold front, I saw good activity, so I know this is a good place to be. And I did see those two great looking 3-year-old striped, and then that other one actually ended up being a buck we call Curly. It wasn't Hank. I thought it was Hank. You know, first glance, they're both typical tans and both about the same size rack, but Hank we believe is a 4-year-old. That new buck we saw, Curly, we believe is only 3. We've only began to get pictures of him about last week, so I really didn't expect to see him here. In fact, we didn't see any pictures of him on this property until I pulled the card after I saw him then. So I had no idea he was over here. But it was a couple of great encounters, so a lot of activity, so I'm hoping that activity picks up a little bit today. Well, guys, that was definitely not the shot I was wanting to make. I ended up shooting pretty high on him. Ended up spine shotting him. It's just not, I'm pretty disappointed with that. It's not how I wanted to, not the shot I wanted to make, but, mistakes happen. I marked it out at 30 yards, and I think he was a little bit closer than that when he came through. But That's kind of the problem with self-filming, is everything had to be set right. You know, but I'm gonna get down and see if I can put another arrow in him. Well, guys, just got back out here to the property. Had to go and switch my car out for the truck and pick up some help. Help me drag this deer out here. It's pretty muddy after all that rain we got, so need all the help I can get. You know, do that shot and me getting down and taking that second shot on him. I know right where he's at, so not gonna be a whole lot of footage from the recovery, but you know, that's how things go. Stiff now. Well, here he is. Here's a buck we call Hank. He got that nickname because we just started getting pictures of him this past year. We knew he was a good 4-year-old and didn't have a name for him. And the spot we were getting the most pictures of him was on top of the hill. So my fiance Kylie's like, well, why don't we call him Hank for Hank Hill? So it's kind of a funny name, but the name kind of stuck. He's a great looking buck. I couldn't be happier. He's definitely my biggest buck with a bow thus far. You know, and you know, I really thank God for the opportunity. I've had some great hunts here in the past couple of weeks. For the few times I've been out in these cold fronts, and hunting over acorns has just been the hot spot for me lately. And you know, really getting after those cold fronts here in October can really make a difference. And whether you're having an October lull or sitting over a buck like I am today, I mean, one of the big things I like to contribute to this is the past few years I have been unsuccessful in harvesting a buck because I've had the mindset of only coming in to hunt the biggest and baddest buck on the farms we hunt. So I was only hunting one specific buck, and he was only out, you know, a few days of the year in daylight we were getting him. So, you know, he wasn't a very killable buck, I should say, but I still was only hunting him. I passed up many good bucks in the process, and I ended up eating tag soup every season for the past 3 or 4 seasons now. So coming into this season, you know, I changed all that up. I followed Jared along and on Midwest Whitetail through his quest and how he was chasing killable bucks and talking about that and targeting those bucks moving in daylight, the mature bucks, and that's exactly my game plan and what I've been doing all season now, is just chasing after any mature buck I have on the farm, no matter the size of his rack, you know, no matter anything about him, as long as he's a mature 4-year-old or older and he's moving in daylight. That was the buck I was hunting. And on this farm, the two most killable bucks were Hank and a buck we call High and Tight. So it was kind of a toss-up which one I was going to see first, and it turned out to be Hank today. So, you know, I couldn't be any happier.
When he walks over here between these trees over here to shoot him for 30, I'll stop him. Just wait. Tell me when you're ready. Why? Wait. You want me to stop him? Meh. That happened fast. It happened really fast.
We got in here a little late this morning and we barely even got sat down. We didn't get everything set up yet. We didn't have the camera arm up. And then Seth told me that there was a buck coming and be about 30 yards. So I got my bow ready and it all happened really fast. And so I shot him for 30 and I hit him a little back and up a little bit. So we're gonna have to wait a while to see if he dies.
It is about 12:30. I took Mackenzie out hunting this morning, and we bumped quite a few deer coming in, but as soon as we got set up in the tree, we had a buck behind us. So I didn't have time to get set up. We were barely ready. We didn't have the camera arm up or anything, but she had her bow ready, and that buck came through, and he was about 30 yards, and she took the shot. He ducked, and she hit him high and back. So we're not sure, but we gave him plenty of time, and we're hoping that that broadhead hit the artery back there. So, I mean, it looked good when he was running away. He looked like he was hurting. And then later on, about an hour later, we had a couple does in front of us, and they were looking down in the bottom towards where he ran, and they were just pacing back and forth. So we're hoping that he's laying down there in the bottom. We gave him plenty of time, so we're going to go in there and see what we can find. There he is. All right, he's laying down here at the bottom of the hill. We thought he might be down here because we saw these does. They were walking right along here about 30 yards from him, and they were just pacing back and forth looking down there. And we were hoping that's what they were looking at, and sure enough, there he is. So he didn't go far at all. Let's go put your hands on him. Not you. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's been quite a year for us. She's been going with us, and she's been helping with trail cameras, tree stands. She's been along for the whole ride this year, and she's put a lot of work into it. And I don't know if she always enjoyed it, but I think she's figuring out that it might have been worth it, because she finally gets to put her hands on her first deer with her bow, and a pretty nice young buck. So that's pretty exciting for us.
Well, we've just got settled in here. Our opening interview got delayed as we've already had 15 deer feed onto the plot. So we're hunting the dream season setup. It's on the north end of the sanctuary that was housing the buck Justin shot back in September. Since then, we've had a deer move in that we call Wishbone. We have a lot of history with him, sheds, and he's all over this food plot. We've been getting a lot of pictures of him the last couple weeks, and we're hoping that tonight, with this high pressure system and these cool temperatures, that he gets up on his feet early to feed and gives us an opportunity. It should be a pretty good evening.
We had a pretty eventful night tonight. The deer were up on their feet early, feeding like we expected, and we've seen a couple familiar faces, some nice 3-year-old 8-pointers that are going to be good deer here in the future. We couldn't get a closing interview done in the tree as some does fed directly downwind of us, and we just had to sit tight and ended up running out of camera light. So all in all, it was a good evening for what they consider the October lull, and we can't wait to get back at it later here in October. Thanks for tuning in to Midwest Whitetail, the Great Plains.
Hey guys, welcome to Midwest Whitetail. It is the 17th. Yeah. And we're heading back to Philly. It's been 1 week since the miss. We'll just call it the miss. And we think he'll still be around. The deer really, I was kind of clueless what happened there, so we're hoping that deer's still around. And Rick also saw one of our other big bucks out there last week. So we got 2 deer that we think are in the area, and that's
that makes us optimistic. So we're gonna give it a try tonight while it's still a little on the cool side and see what happens. So.
That's the 10 point.
That's the 10, October 12th. Was that the day me and you hunted?
Yes.
He came out in front of the other redneck.
Yeah.
That's the day after my dad shot at this buck. It's
Back.
It's 6:20, back a daylight mover. This thing, we're gonna get a crack at this guy.
Tell him you're asking me.
What?
Tell him you're asking me.
I'm asking you if you need one. I got one.
Just over 30 all the way.
I've been in the tree about an hour. Had a group of turkeys come through. And a possum. It's kind of fine. We had time, and our wind right now is really rolling back to the food plot. So honestly, I don't want a deer to show up right now. As the winds lay down in the evening, hopefully that becomes more just consistent push in the true wind direction. But every time a gust comes, I'll drop a piece of cotton and it just right towards the food plots. There's one. 3-year-old baby. There's 3 bucks. 3-year-old. Just 2. What is he? He may be a 2-year-old. Decent buck.
All right, we wrapped up tonight's hunt. We had a close encounter right at the end, and a good buck showed up, but he did not close the distance, and we've seen that 2 nights now. Big deer come into the food plot and just stop. As soon as they get in there, put their head down and feed away. So they're not moving aggressively yet, but that time will come pretty soon. So in probably 10 days, so the 27th, we expect to get back in there and see if we can get another crack at that guy. It's a fun hunt, and Good luck to you if you hit the field.